up here. Yeah,
Okay.
you want it Good evening, all of South Arkansas Now followers, anybody watching. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We've got another great episode of Fifth and Goal planned for you. Huge shout out to our friends over here at Mystic Grill, Mystic Creek. Thank you so much for making this happen. Guys, if you don't know already, Mystic Creek is hosting the Epsom Tour this weekend. They've got the ladies from the Epsom Tour coming in and playing here at one of the best courses in Arkansas, one of the best courses in the country. And they want the community to come out and watch these ladies play. And I got to see just some of them taking some practice swings on the range earlier this morning. And I am not bringing my clubs anywhere near this course in the near future. And so with that being said, guys, come out, come support the Epsom Tour, come support Mystic Creek. Great food, great service, great golf. And so I've got Coach Jonathan Hicks from Parker's Chapel over here with us this weekend, or today, excuse me. And Coach, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So Parker's Chapel traveled to Dirks, Arkansas, the Outlaws, correct?
Yes, sir.
And sadly, it didn't go the way that we wanted it to. And there's a bit of a deceptive score here, with Parker's Chapel taking the loss of 61-24. Coach went through. I watched the film of the game, and the thing that I really noticed is that, I mean, one, Dirks had a pretty high-powered offense. They had a quarterback who could just launch the ball and put it where it needed to be. And not only that, but the guys he was throwing it to were making the catches that they needed to make. And so that was definitely one thing that I noticed. And then another thing that I noticed, Coach, is they got a couple of scores off of the turnovers, maybe not necessarily on the turnover, but resulting from so. And another big thing is that they had a really, really good looking defense. Every play that I looked at where they were on defense, they had a really good defensive line, especially their edge rushers. I saw them, one, just about bigger than anybody else on the field, and then two, they were fast. They were real fast. I mean, I was impressed by these guys' speed, and so those are just a couple of the things that I noticed. But I also want to talk about the good things that I noticed from Parker's Chapel, because again, you guys went out there and y'all put up 24 points, and like I said, it was a deceptive score. What was the score starting the? Everything's good. What is the score? What was the score starting with the or at the beginning of the fourth quarter?
The beginning of the fourth quarter, it was 41-24.
But a couple of things happened late in the third quarter, right? Yeah, that's what I remember seeing.
Going back through the game, we got some early momentum. Hit them in the mouth early, ran it down good. Got it to 16-6. We had probably a game-changing play. They throw it to us, and we had an interception dropped. Then we had another ball where they throw it to us. The ball pops in the air, and we didn't quite get it, which is fine. I mean, next play. But ultimately, saying that, we had about 4 plays in the game that changed it, and we had the momentum. And even with that happening in the first half, we came out in the second half, got a great first stop. It was 36-24 or 32-24, something in that range. And we got a great stop when they first, and we going down a score, and we had some unfortunate events that kind of took the air out of us. And then we just couldn't get back rolling on offense, which is fine because we finally found our offense identity in this week, and we did a great job. I mean, we had 342 rushing yards.
Right, and that was actually one of the things that I was going to bring up, was the fact that y'all did rush a lot. I mean, you guys were able to establish a good running game, and that 61-24 on the scoreboard is a little deceptive of how how well Parker's Chapel actually did end up playing. I think ultimately Dirks was going to win that game either way. Uh, even without maybe the game change, even without a couple of those game changing plays that we're talking about. I mean, Dirks looked like a really really good team out there, but I was seeing the beginnings of the right things out of the Trojans, and I was seeing a lot of wanting to be physical and wanting to be the more physical team out of some of your guys, and that's that's a great start. And one thing that we have to remember is that, I mean, this is only the second year that Parker's Chapel has 11-man football again, right?
You're right.
Right. So I mean, we're talking about a program that is trying to reestablish itself, trying to find its identity again, and so even though we're starting out this season 0-3, it's never about how you start the season. And I mean, pretty much any coach will agree. It's not about the start of the season. It's about how you finish and the improvement you make along the way. And so, seeing the film based from week one versus what I saw last night and earlier today, as I was going over y'all's film and looking over just the different things that stuck out to me. I noticed that there was a better level of physicality out of some of the guys. I also noticed that you had several offensive linemen understanding that they had to make a block and then get downfield to make another block on the running plays, and uh, it was almost like they didn't quite grasp that in week one, and in the film that I've seen, it seems like they're really starting to understand like that. Um, the line of scrimmage is wherever they're going to put it.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, yes, it's wherever the running back or the quarterback goes down, but ultimately the offensive line is the one to establish that line of scrimmage, and so it's up to them to move it forward.
Yeah.
And that was. It seems like that's something that I can see your offensive line starting to understand and starting to grasp and put it into their game.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this until the cows come home. Our offensive line is our strength of our team. I don't think out of these three losses that any of those teams were better than us. I think we have shot ourselves in the foot to where the scoreboard is not in our favor. Friday night, for example, like I said, we had 4 key plays that changed that game, and the score is the only thing that says they're better than us. But I still believe we were better than Dirks. I believe penalties held us back from being Gurdon, and I believe penalties held us back from being Foreman. So it's just one of those things where I still believe we were the better team, and we're still a good team. The scoreboard just has to show that these coming up Fridays.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And so, um, you know, Coach, this is the third week that we're talking about, not shooting yourselves in the foot with the different penalties that you guys are facing. And so, what are you doing in practice to address that discipline and that yeah, just really more so just that discipline to not get called on a penalty?
Just emphasizing it more. The little things, emphasizing the little things, making them big deals, making the little things big deals because they are big deals because that's what scoreboard shows is the little things. So emphasizing those in practice. Also emphasizing discipline in everything we do. Uh, whether it's picking up clothes, waking up on time, everything in our day to day, and
Right.
being on class on time to class, everything in our day to day, just being more disciplined so it's easier on the football field.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, I'm excited to talk about next week, but we're going to take another break and we're going to hear a quick word from our sponsors here at southarkansasnow.com.
in your corner. Need someone to help you deal with insurance? Look to Cooks. Need advice on what to do next? Look to Cooks. Need a free estimate? Look to Cooks. Bad things are going to happen, and when they do, look to Cooks.
Located on 1,400 acres amidst Union County's scenic timberlands, LSB Industries' largest manufacturing facility and its employees have been a part of the El Dorado community for more than 40 years. Working together as one team, we are proud to call El Dorado home.
Derek Henry.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I saved so much bundling, it inspired my workout. Auto! Home!
Okay. And this is Auto again, right?
Auto!
Hey, this is my living room.
Home!
Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan.
The dog isn't allowed on the couch, Derek.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
With a name you trust, you can count on us. Glen Mechanical, plumbing, heating, and air.
For over 6 decades, Glen Mechanical has been specializing in HVAC, plumbing, and all mechanical jobs. 3 generations family-owned and operated since 1956. Glen Mechanical's business is based on relationships. They support and give back to the communities they work in. Contact them for all of your HVAC, plumbing, and mechanical needs. GlenMechanical.com.
Welcome back to Fifth and Goal, hosted by myself, Jax Sanford, and we are here at the Mystic Grill here at the Mystic Creek Golf Course. And again, we cannot say huge enough shout out to Mystic Creek and all the amazing things that they've allowed us to do out here. And I mean, just look at that view. I mean, can't beat it. Can't beat it. Not anywhere in South Arkansas you're going to get a view like that. And so, Coach Hicks, let's get back to talking some ball. All right. So you said that this week you have a bye game or a bye week, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then, not this Friday, but next Friday. Who are you going to be playing?
Bismarck.
Bismarck. That's right. And they're 2-1, right?
Yes.
They're 2-1. They just came off of a win against
Glen Rose.
Glen Rose. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And yeah, they won that game 48-21. That's right. That's right. And so, this is looking like a pretty good, a pretty solid Bismarck team. And you just faced a pretty solid Dirks team. I mean, from what I saw in the film, I mean, Dirks looks good. I wouldn't be surprised to see them make a deep run in the playoffs later this year, just in the way that they're looking so far.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of football to be played still, and things can change. But Dirks looked pretty good. So how are you? I mean, especially with a bye week and getting some rest for not only yourself but your guys and your assistant coaches. And what are you guys mainly looking at when you're looking to prepare for Bismarck a week and a half from now?
Bismarck is the start of our playoff run, in my opinion. We have to take what they did last year with a grain of salt. It's a new team. We're not playing their state runner-ups. We're playing the 2025 Bismarck, whatever they are, Lions. So we have to go in and just like I said last week, devise a game plan, kind of treat this week as a slow walk and talk, understand our opponent to the utmost of our ability, and put our guys in advantages.
Yeah.
And we got a taste of punching first against Dirk. I mean, we got up 16-6 on them real fast, and we would like to keep that momentum because it felt good for our kids and for our coaches. So, I mean, we want to go out here and do the same, and this time maintain it since we're going to be on our home field.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me, Coach. And you're right. The Bismarck Lions were the runner-up this most recent year, and so what you said that you want to move past what happened last year. Can you just fill the people in at home who may not know, me included, what it was like last year?
They were a really good team.
Right.
Quarterback was really good. Running back was really good. He still had. I mean, he's number 5. His son is still there this year. Is really good. But the senior lineman they had and the senior defensive lineman they had, they were fast, physical, and they were on top of it. They were great athletes, a great team, really well coached. And last year, I mean, they beat us. I mean, not really in the offensive defensive world. It was punt return, interception. We thought he stepped out of bounds, but took it to the house.
Mm.
Fumble. I still believe that ref was wrong. We were down on the ground, fumble. They take it to the house. So it was just things like that. When that happens fast, it's a domino effect, and the score gets out of hand fast.
Right, right, and so that is that something that you're talking with your guys about in leading up to this game, is not allowing things to have the domino effect, saying, hey, that play's done, next one's coming up, you got to do your best, or what are y'all doing to just kind of instill that mentality in them, that mental toughness that they need?
Yes, next play. Trying to get our kids to say it on the field when something like that happens. Even when something good happens, we want next play. We can't be too high, too low, or anything. And I mean, football is a domino effect. Everything about football is a domino effect, slippery slope, whatever you want to call it. It's just once one good thing happens, another good thing happens, another good thing happens, and you just keep that up for 4 quarters, and you let the scoreboard tell the story.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I know one of the biggest things that a team will allow to happen is allowing themselves to get defeated before a play is even final.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that if you ask uh, some of the great coaches that I've been around in my life, a lot of them have said the same thing when asked the question, Coach, what's the most important down in football? And they'll say the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's a great point that you've got there, Coach, that, we've just got to move on. You've just got to move on to the next play. The other one's already happened. Let's make the best opportunity of the one that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's a great point. And what you said that number 5 is returning for Bismarck. What position is number 5? What kind of risk does he pose to y'all's chances of a win?
Number 5 plays a special position I call get him the ball.
Okay.
So wherever he is, the ball is most likely going to him. And if the ball is not going to him, you take a deep breath, like all right. So, I mean, he's an incredible athlete. I think we have a great game plan for him and the rest of the team, because I mean they have a good team also. It's not just him. They have a good team. I mean, that Coach Keithley is a good coach over there.
And really quick before we finish up your part for this evening, are there any players on your team who you want to shout out, say that they did a great job in this last week's game, or anybody who you mainly saw a lot of improvement in?
Mm-hmm. We had 342 rushing yards. Shout out to Austin, great kid, great athlete. He's gonna be a great man when he grows up.
Austin, you didn't hear that. You're not supposed to hear that yet.
He some unfortunate things happened to him, and we're gonna move on and keep him on the ride with us. And shout out to Avion. Austin had 117 yards, 2 TDs in the first half. I mean,
oh wow,
that's big. And Avion McDuffie and Weston Lewis had 225 yards and 1 TD combined. So
okay. Okay. All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming out tonight. I appreciate your words of wisdom. I hope that your guys and yourself get a good amount of rest, a lot of preparation during this bye week, and good luck to y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. SouthArkansasNow.com.
Go Trojans.
Vegetables at Davis Farms Country Market. Plus, a new shipment of baked goods just hit the shelf. And if you've ever wanted to know the difference between the meat from the big chain stores and locally grown Davis Double D Farms beef, you have to check it out. You'll be amazed, and you may never buy grocery store beef again. All of this and more at Davis Farms Country Market, 4523 Junction City Highway, or call 870-639-1323.
Need equipment for your next job? Don't settle for the traditional rental experience.
The rental experience with Equipment Share is a great experience. We rent everything from dozers to skid loaders, mini excavators, even smaller hand tools. They've always got what we need. They're timely. The billing is quick and accurate. The guys are able to set it up. They do it through their phone. I love Equipment Share. Renting with Equipment Share is not like any other company out there. It's 1,000 times better.
For nearly 50 years, South Arkansas floors have been covered by El Dorado Custom Carpets. And not just carpets, but true hardwood, laminate, stone, porcelain, ceramic, marble, and more. And guess what? It doesn't end with just floors. El Dorado Custom Carpets carries a tremendous selection of backsplash, wall tile, and area rugs. The truth of the matter is, one commercial can't come close to telling you everything you can find at El Dorado Custom Carpets, 1601 East Main Street in El Dorado. Call 870-862-4945.
Homes are typically heated or cooled 24/7, 365, using nearly half of all home energy. That new stainless steel refrigerator may look cool, but upgrading to the quietest and most efficient HVAC system can have much greater rewards. Choose a system with a Wi-Fi enabled thermostat, so the most important appliance in the house is also the smartest, allowing you to set the perfect comfort level from anywhere. Presented by Lennox. Learn what perfect feels like at lennox.com.
Welcome back to Fifth and Goal, hosted here live at Mystic Creek. Huge shout out to the crew over here at Mystic Creek, allowing everything to happen, especially with tonight, the restaurant being shut down because they've got everything being prepared with the Epsom tour. Guys, if you haven't already, get ready to show up this weekend and support the community, support the ladies that are coming out and playing this weekend out here at Mystic. You're going to see some high-level golf, and they want the public, they want you there. Also, guys, please like, share, comment, subscribe to SouthArkansasNow.com. And I've got Coach Don Harrison from Smackover here with us today. Coach, good win over this past Friday. You guys took a 37-28 win over Junction at Junction. And before I start getting into my breakdown and the things that I saw, Coach, just tell me a little bit about the game.
Came out and we jumped on top 14-0. Stopped them on 3 and out and got the ball back to start the game, and did some really good stuff and jumped out 14-0. And then they came back and tied it right before halftime, made it 14-14, and then they came back in the second half and in the third quarter, and they scored 2 touchdowns and went up 28-14. Our kids could have wavered a little bit, could have questioned some stuff, but they didn't, and they found a way to dig out the hole, and before you know it, we were down 28-21, and then before you know it, we had tied the game, got a touchdown there and kind of killed the clock and put them in a tough situation to try to score. Stopped them on a 4th down where they tried to run a fake punt, and we stopped them, got the ball, and pretty much killed the clock and won the game. So, had some adversity, went through some stuff, and saw a lot from our boys, stepping up, and our senior leadership really showed up Friday night when we needed it.
Yeah. I mean, and it sounds like it. I mean, and just talk about the roller coaster of emotions that you have to go through in a game like that. I mean, to come out and jump up by two possessions fairly quickly,
yeah,
and then to have them come back and tie it right before the half, and then actually when you come back, into the second half, they actually jump up on you by so that's them scoring 28 unanswered.
Yeah.
And then that's just something that you and your guys are having to sit there and go through. But then to have the mental toughness and to have that bend but don't break mentality, to be able to come back and win 37-28, I think that says a lot, especially when we're talking about beating a historically good program and still a very good ball team this year in Junction City.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I noticed was that there were explosive plays or explosive offensive plays on both sides, on both sidelines.
Yeah.
This Friday, or this past Friday, they had some really good downfield blocking with the running.
Yeah.
And they had some guys who were able to find their way open when the quarterback was scrambling around in the pocket for just some tough luck, big plays against you guys. And but one thing that I really wanted to point out, and like you'll hear me say a million times forever, I love the offensive line. The offensive line is where I get my joy in watching football. I know everybody wants to see the receivers and the quarterbacks and the running backs make the big plays, but to me, there is just nothing like seeing a offensive lineman give a defensive lineman the business.
Yeah.
The business. And so one thing that I loved seeing from both teams, but especially you guys, was sometimes I was seeing an offensive lineman 10, 15, even 20 yards downfield making a block during a screen or a running play, and just that level of I want it and I want to be in the play from my brother who's carrying the ball beside me. That is something that I love to see, is that kind of dedication. And I mean, and we also have to think about the athletic ability it takes for an offensive lineman who's bigger than everybody else on the field, to make a block and then get downfield and make another block, and then maybe another block, and then maybe another block. It's just something that you love to see, and you love to see that athletic ability coming out of your offensive linemen, that dominance that they're able to establish. Another thing that I really liked seeing from y'all's offense was the execution of the screenplays that I saw you guys run. I saw quite a few screenplays go for good chunks of yardage. So, can you just tell us a little bit more about how you were able to get that set up with your team, and maybe something that you saw?
Well, we work on screens a lot. It's a big part of our offense, and again, talking about the O-line, they do a really good job. Screen is something that we look for very early in the game. I'm looking for how much pressure people are trying to bring. Our defensive linemen coming off and playing with their hands, or a defensive lineman coming off and trying to pass rush. If I catch you trying to pass rush too much, we're going to screen you. We've got, I think I counted it up, I think going into that game, I think we had 11 different screens that we run. We have some to the tailback, we have some to wide receivers, and so we have one to tight end. So we have a lot of screens, and we practice them a lot. And it really is, we're looking at what you're trying to do. If you're trying to anchor in and you're trying to stop the run, then we're not going to be able to screen you very well, because you're just sitting right there. But if we catch you pinning your ears back and you're trying to get to Mitchell Polk in the pocket, what we're going to do is we're going to screen you. And then that sets up the passing game later on, because if we hit you on 2 or 3 screens, it really slows you down. It really makes those D lineman kids think, oh, I got to be careful here, because the last time they did it, and I think we scored on a 19-yard screen to start the game. Braxton Bryant caught a little screen out there, and he actually caught it on the flats and brought it all the way back in the middle, which is how it's designed. But, I worked for Coach Malzahn and Coach Rick Jones for a long time, and they were real big on screens. And so I got a front seat and got to see how screens work when you call the screen. Anytime it's 3rd down and long, that's the way, oh, hey, screen. I love running screens on 1st down. I think people try to blitz you a little more on 1st down, 3rd down long. They're going to play some base stuff. The D-line's probably going to try to get pressure, but those linebackers are looking for screens and draws. But on 1st down, they're not looking for it. So we catch people a lot. Juice is really good on the screens as well. We hit Juice 2 or 3 times in the prior weeks, the Junction City game. So they were looking for the screens really wide. And if you, like I said, that one Braxton caught, he actually ran it right up the middle of the field. So, we had to kind of put that in special for them. Screens are a big part of our offense. Anytime you throw the ball, we'd like to throw the ball a bunch of times a game, but at the end of the night, you were talking about our offensive line getting downfield. I mean, we call them the Buckaroo Moving Company because they move people around, and we were getting 8.6 yards a carry. And my O-line coach is behind me going, keep running this, keep doing this. We can run this. They're trying to stop this. And he was right, because every time he was calling stuff, we were getting what we wanted. And I'd love to go out there and throw the ball all over the place, but when we're getting 8-something yards to carry, I'm not going to be hard-headed. And, coming back in that game and, down to our third-string running back. We started our third-string running back to start the game, and our fourth-string running back is the one that made 3 or 4 plays in the third and fourth quarter to get us back in the game. So, and it all, not that the backs aren't any good, but when you're down to your third and fourth string running back, it's because of that offensive line. There was a lot of holes, and there was a lot of people getting moved around, and those guys had some great lanes to run through.
Yeah. And then one of the things that also caught my attention was the fact that Junction did have a good number of explosive plays. A fair amount of those actually came over the top.
Yeah.
They had a really good air raid offense at one point. It looked like because it was just like 3 or 4 highlights in a row was a big chunk of yardage on a pass play. What were they doing there that was working so effectively?
Well, when they get, they started off in the wishbone, and they stayed in the wishbone most of the night, and they were in 2 tight end wishbone, and we were stopping the run pretty good. So what they were doing is they started to kind of figure out our scheme and what we were doing, but at the same time, they started to run the ball, and they started to block a little differently, and they made some great adjustments. And, as high school kids can't help it, but a lot of those were, we were trying to stop the run. I mean, they're a very good football team. They got a lot of backs, and their line is huge. And so we had really sold out to stop the run. And they made some big plays down the stretch. But we also made a couple of big plays where they didn't complete the ball.
No, you're right.
And we got our hand on the ball. I think one time they would have been up another 2 scores. I think we got it to 21-28, and they were driving, trying to score again, and they threw it downfield, and the guy was open, but Juice had caught up, and as he's catching it, Juice knocks it out of his hands at the last second, and he was in the end zone, and it would have probably been a touchdown. But that just comes with we were trying to stop that run, and at the beginning of the game we had stopped them. We had stopped the run. We were giving them problems, but like I said, they got a good coaching staff, and they got some really good players, and they made some changes, and they did some adjustments, and they were really hurting us on the run. So we were, as kids do, they were trying to stop the run, and they were catching us over the top when we were trying to stop the run.
Right. And so, Coach, when we come back, we're going to talk about looking forward to next week against Harmony Grove, but we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsors here at SouthArkansasNow.com.
When it comes to protecting your home or business, trust the name that's been serving South Arkansas for 3 generations, Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal. From residential roofs to large commercial projects, the experienced team at Cross delivers quality you can see and reliability you can count on. Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal, built on trust, proven by results. Call Cross Roofing today. Put a solid future over your head. When it comes to your family's financial future, peace of mind matters. At Harrison Financial Management, they are right here to help you plan, grow, and protect what matters most. Whether you're planning for retirement, investing wisely, or securing your family's future, they will guide you every step of the way. Harrison Financial Management, your future, their commitment.
At the Karl Malone family of dealerships, Ford El Dorado, Chevy El Dorado, Toyota El Dorado, and Karl Malone Toyota of Ruston, the mailman always delivers. With over 200 brand new vehicles and over 150 quality pre-owned options, you're sure to find the perfect ride. Looking to sell? We'll buy your vehicle, paid on the spot. 4 dealerships, one name you can trust, Karl Malone. Because when it comes to great deals, the mailman delivers.
Whether it's protecting families from the predators in nature, to helping food taste better and last longer naturally, or just making sure the local ball field is at its best, Lanxess is involved in our everyday lives. With more than 450 employees locally and more than $32 million in payroll each year, Lanxess is doing their part to be a good neighbor and leader in South Arkansas. With that in mind, remember to call before you dig. Know what's below. In Arkansas, it's the law and it's a free service. Call 811 before you dig. This brought to you by Lanxess.
Welcome back to Fifth and Goal, hosted here live at Mystic Creek. A huge shout out to the crew out here. Or just again, thank you so much, Mystic Creek, for allowing this to happen. Guys, come check out the Epsom Tour this weekend. It's free to get in. It is free to get in, and it is some top-notch quality golf. I promise you won't want to miss out on it. All right, so Coach Harrison, like we said, you guys took a great win last week against Junction 37-28, and now you're looking to start your conference games. And this upcoming week, right? You guys don't have a bye week this week.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, we're 3-0, so we played 0-1-2, so we got the bye week.
Okay.
And we play next week. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have the bye week this week, and then next week you'll face off against the Harmony Grove Hornets out of Camden, and they're coming off of a 42-14 loss against Haynesville, Louisiana. But tell me about what you're looking forward to in this game, and their record is 0-3. But tell me how you're making sure that your guys don't get caught up in a trap game.
Oh yeah, well, we had a great game with them last year. We ended up, I think we lost that game 52-58, and it was a really good game. Another one of those times where we got down 14 points at once, and then we came back and tied it, and I think we got down 20 points at once and came back and tied it. Mitchell had a great night that night. I think he threw for over 300 yards. He rushed for over 150 yards. We scored a lot of points, but we came up short, and they made it a great play at the end of the game. We were trying to drive down to get close enough to score a field goal, and they had a kid make an interception and pretty much sealed the win for them. So, really, our kids remember that game. They remember it was tough. That was, we had started the year 2-0, and we lost to Junction City by 2, and then we lost that game by 6, and we those were two tough losses in a row. So, getting that big win versus Junction City last week, but our kids they're ready to start conference. We lost to Camden last year by 6. We lost to Bismarck last year by 5. We were right there in a lot of games in our conference, and we just could not finish, or they just made a couple plays at the end that we didn't make. So, the boys are really excited to start conference. They're not happy about the bye week. They're actually kind of aggravated. They want to be playing. I mean, when you're 3-0 and you're winning and you're playing the kind of football we're playing, it's not fun to sit around. But we're using that time. We're using this time wisely. Like I said, we started our 3rd and 4th string running backs the other night. We actually lost the starting receiver in the middle of warm up, dislocated his finger in the middle of warm up. So we got a lot of guys with some bumps, bites, bruises. We got some guys that are injured, and our trainer's doing a really good job. She's going to try to get them back, and but yeah, we're definitely excited to start conference, and we lost some games last year that we shouldn't have lost, and we were right there on the edge of not only making the playoffs but being a 4 or a 3 seed, and it was just a couple of plays here and there. So yeah, I mean, in the way of a trap game, I don't really think of it as a trap game because when you start conference, you're excited to start conference, and I don't see it. Our boys don't look at people's records. I mean, we talk about it all the time. They're a faithless opponent. They're just wearing different colors, and we got to get ready for them as if we're playing the Dallas Cowboys. We're playing the Alabama Crimson Tide. We get ready as we're playing the best team every week, and we're concentrating on being 1-0. And we're concentrating on taking it one game at a time, and that's how we're living right now, and it seems to be working pretty well for us right now.
Yeah, you're going into every week acting like you're about to face off against the 2017 Patriots.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and so solid games against Harmony Grove the last few years, and not only is this a conference game, but I mean Harmony Grove is a hop, skip, and a jump away. I mean, just not very far down the road at all. And so, in fact, we might have some Hornet fans watching right now.
Oh yeah.
And so. You'll get a bye week, and like you said, you're going to take this opportunity to use it wisely and try and get some guys back healthy, back into the rhythm of getting to practice full on and get game ready again. Coach, how hard of a week of practice are the guys going to have the rest of this week, knowing that you've got a bye week, you've got some time to rest?
Well, I try. If I was worried about certain things, I would go out there and take it easy on them or do some walkthroughs. But we're not. We're using this time to work on ourselves. We don't have an opponent to get ready for, so we're working on some stuff ourselves. And we're letting, the last 2 days we've practiced for a while, and then we've kind of stopped there at the end, and we're actually letting our JV kids scrimmage. And it's hard to find JV games in this area. Not a lot of people in our district. Not a lot of people have. I mean, we're really blessed. We have 47 players on our team, so there's a lot of kids that did not get to play Friday night versus Junction City. Didn't get to play versus Fountain Lake. We've got pretty much everybody in against the Drew Central game. We got a lot of guys in. So we're the last 2 days we've let our JV get after it, and they've gotten a lot of good time in, and they're getting after it against each other. And we've been keeping our kids' legs underneath them, throwing a lot of skill, and like I said, doing a lot of drill, working our special team stuff, and just concentrating on us, the things that we got to tighten up to make sure that down the stretch when we go on this conference run, we don't lose a game because we didn't block somebody correctly on extra point and it gets blocked, or we don't pick up an overload on one side if we're punting the ball. So there's a lot of things that you can work on, and we're putting our kids in positions to think about some stuff. But we're not going out there with our starters and hitting a lot. But we feel like, if I felt like we weren't a very physical team, I'd do it. But, the last 2 weeks, especially Fountain Lake was very physical. Junction City was extremely physical.
Always.
We've seen physical, and we have matched physical with our physical. So we're very happy where we're at there. But we also know, we got a lot of kids that just need some time to heal. And again, they're doing everything right. They're getting that treatment, and they're getting out there and they're doing their running and stuff like that. And we get everybody back. We start that conference run. We got all our guys back. We think we're a pretty good football team. So, but it's a give and take. I don't want to give them too much and make them feel like they're getting this time off and it's not a big deal. But at the same time, I don't want to wear them out. I've always thought, I worked for a guy that taught me one time to think about the end in mind. And the end in mind is where we want to be in the playoffs, and we want to be playing deep after Thanksgiving. And I don't want to wear them out too soon. Your legs only last so long. So that's one thing we're concentrating on, is taking care of the boys for the long run.
Yeah, and then Coach, just one last question, and then I'll let you go home for the evening. You brought them up, and I'm a little partial because I spent so much time as part of the athletic training staff at Washita, like I've told you. And so how great of a trainer do you have?
Oh man, she's amazing. Murray Owen, Miss O, that's what everybody calls her, Miss O, Coach O. She does a great job. Yeah. She does a great job, and she does a really good job in getting our kids back. And, we got a couple of guys, and I think we could have maybe pushed them to play last week. But, again, thinking of the end in mind and how important conference was. But, man, our guys, we get them back. And, I've been on staffs before where we were the trainers, and that was never good.
Never a good idea.
It's never fun. It's never good. And then you got those people that work for other places, and then they just show up every now and then, and that's aggravating. She's there all the time. They can see her in the morning. They can go see her during the day. She's there before practice. She's there after practice. So it's really good to have her. The kids have her all the time. They have access to her constantly. And it's still sometimes we have to make sure they go see her. And it doesn't matter because they're just knuckleheads.
Trust
about
me,
stuff.
I know.
Yeah, you have to make them go see her. And it's not like she's being mean to them. It's just that's how kids are sometimes. But no, we're very blessed to have a trainer because, like I said, I was a football coach and we didn't have a trainer, and I did it all myself. And there's only so many times that I can say ice for 48 hours and then heat after. I mean, I didn't take any of those classes when I was going to school. So, it's really good to have somebody that that understands, and she does a good job too, because sometimes the boys go in there and she's like, just go to practice, you're fine, just go to practice, But sometimes, we have those kids and they get injured, and having her there right there on the sideline, having her there every day they can walk in. I mean, we have 4 or 5 kids that go in there every day and get some sort of rehab, and she has the equipment, and she has the know-how, and it keeps them healthy, it keeps them in the game. And just like today, we were out there practicing, and she had 3 or 4 of those boys over there, and she was putting them through it, and she was pushing them to get them ready for that Harmony Grove game. So having somebody, I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to worry about it. She was over there putting them through it. So, and then she comes over and she gives me a report. This is where I think he's close, and this one he's going to need some more time to rest, but he's close, but he needs more time. And I mean, so just having that person there all the time, it's a whole lot better than me doing it. Because if I was doing it, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be as good. It would be a lot of real basic stuff.
The ankle taping wouldn't maybe
now
look
I
as
can
pretty.
tape an ankle. Now wait a minute. Now, I can take it. Yeah, Dean Weber taught me to tape ankles at the University of Arkansas, and I paid attention because I had to take a class, and I went in there one day and I said, Dean, I'm about to fail this class because I can't figure this out. And he had this little scheme, and he's like, this is how you do it. And he kind of taught me that scheme, and I went in there and plastered fine colors, and she said, well, how did you figure this out? I said, old Mr. Dean Weber taught me. So I can tape them ankles pretty good, and I can tape wrists. But when you're talking about rehabbing people, and you're talking about the know-how of not making an injury worse by pushing a kid and then being able to get that kid to where they can go out and play and get back on the field, I don't have that know-how.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thank you so much for making it out this evening.
Absolutely.
A good win last week. Get some rest during this bye week, and we'll be right back after another quick word from our sponsors here at SouthArkansasNow.com.
Non-stop phone calls, registered mail, repossessions, or threats of lawsuits from creditors, and it seems like no one is willing to let you hit pause and just catch your breath. You need the help of Robert Rushing and the Rushing Law Firm. Bankruptcy is not the end. It can be a chance for a fresh start. The Rushing Law Firm goes to work for you, letting you hit that pause button and start over. Call the Rushing Law Firm today at 870-875-2940 or stop by the office at 725 Northwest Avenue in El Dorado. The Rushing Law Firm.
Serving South Arkansas for 25 years, and all the while expanding and growing throughout the state, Promed Ambulance is proving their motto of world-class care and hometown values. For example, their new mobile integrated healthcare communication center. This state-of-the-art facility allows communication specialists to work directly with local 911 call centers to ensure the closest medical team is always dispatched to any emergency. World-class care and hometown values. For more information and career opportunities, go to PromedAmbulance.com.
If you born and raised in Arkansas, make some noise right now. You got place they've built right here in your town.
All right, and welcome back to Fifth and Goal, hosted here live at Mystic Creek here in the Mystic Grill. Guys, one last time, just a huge thank you to the crew out here. Thank you so much for allowing to make this happen, and come check out the Epsom tour this weekend. It's free to get in, and it's a show. I mean, it's a show. You're going to see some awesome stuff happen. You can follow specific players. You can stay on specific holes. You just come watch. And so I've got Coach Chris Borowski, the offensive coordinator for the Wildcats, on here with us today. Coach, you guys took a win, 55-21 versus Texarkana at home. And, I mean, we're talking about a Texarkana team that El Dorado's had a strong rivalry with. I mean, how long have you been with El Dorado, Coach?
20 years.
20. I was thinking that it was
A little bit.
A little while. I was trying to find the polite words to say. I've only been alive for 26. Um, and coach, so yeah, a 55-21 win. Before we get into the game, you just kind of tell me what did you think about the game? How did you feel about the game that y'all called offensively and defensively? What were the highs, maybe some of the lows as well?
Oh, we were definitely pleased. Definitely pleased at home, to walk away with the win in the fashion that it was. I think it was very much needed, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, we were able to kind of take the preseason games and really establish what is our identity going to be moving forward into conference play. Playing our first game against Little Rock Christian, a very, very well coached football team, disciplined football team. Still trying to figure the pieces out of the chess match. We got some young, talented individuals on our team. Coming in at the skill position, we have an experienced offensive line coming back before the 5 guys are back. We returned, 9 offensive starters. And so the expectations, obviously, with them were a little bit high, but we want to see and test and challenge those young sophomore kids who are coming up. So as we went into week 1 into week 2, we're kind of like kind of feeling our way around. Like, hey, what kind of position can we put these guys in? Let's see what they can handle on a Friday night when the lights are a little bit bigger. Obviously, against 7A school, the Rock Christian, and then you go in the next week, play a rivalry game against Camden. It doesn't get much bigger than that for those. So we had a lot of film. We had a lot of time to evaluate in these preseason games. So, being on the road as much as we were the preseason and come home and then finally get things kind of clicking the way that we think that they're going to go was a very promising thing in order to move forward into conference play. I feel like, Jeremy Samuel is establishing himself as a very dominant running back, and so it was very pleasing to see him kind of finally get loose a few times and see what he can do, and then kind of balance that with a quick screen game as well, and then able to get their team moving east and west and tire them out as much as we can, and then take a shot downfield and run them on screens. So we knew going in the strength of Texarkana's defense. I felt like was their 2 interior D linemen were huge, big boys. So hey, we need to get them tired. And I think we ran Buck Sweet probably 40 times that game, and we had those guys running east and west, and we had our big boys running east and west, and it was just more like a battle of attrition at that point. Who wants it more? So we were able to complement that with some screen games and just really wanted to get them moving east and west and see how we can get that going. So we were extremely pleased. And then defensively, hey, we shut them out in the first half. Marsavis Ishmael would be the guy that I had to say big shout out to because he gets 2 interceptions, a pick 6. I think he was our defensive player of the week for the team. He was special teams player of the week for how well he covered. He had a very much well-deserved moment, especially at home in front of the home fans, on a great performance. And so, again, being at home, we got a chance to display some of the uniforms out there. The kids really enjoyed it. It was great to have just the atmosphere of El Dorado feel like, hey, it's football Friday night in town. We've been on the road so long. Like, now let the show begin. And it was able to have our community come out and support. And the kids put on a show for them, and the kids play with passion. When you play in front of your hometown, and you look up in the stands, and your preacher's there, the guy that changed your oil there, the Brookshire's workers there, all that. It means something different.
It does.
And so the kids, they did. They brought a little life to El Dorado on a Friday night.
Oh, 100%. And actually, you'll see right here, my very first bullet point under the score right here is Marsavius Ishmael, star of the show for Carter Bryant, who helps me call the games on Friday nights. Y'all tune in live, SouthArkansasNow.com on Facebook, YouTube, and SouthArkansasNow.com to watch Wildcat games. And so Carter, my play-by-play partner, he and I both agreed that Marsavius Ishmael was the star of the show on the defense. With those, like you said, 2 interceptions, one being a pick six, did really, really well in the special team on special teams as well, and made several tackles on kickoffs. And so, we had been saying that that Lumsey was was the captain of the ship, and it seems like Marsavius Ishmael might be the first mate.
Yeah.
And just to take that a step further, I mean, it really seemed like Texarkana focused pretty heavily on keeping Lumsey out of the game and keeping him out of that impact role position, keeping the ball away from his side of the field. If he was lined up in the middle, they weren't running up the middle. And so, you see a team start to plan for one specific player, and then you have somebody like Marsavius step up and start making those plays when they think they can try and exploit a weakness in the defense. And so, as of right now, Lumsey might still be the captain of our ship, but it was really nice to know that the Wildcats have a first mate like Ishmael, and I think that he did a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely a fun game to call. And another thing was that I thought that Cannon Jacobs did a phenomenal job, and it's been great to see the changes and the adjustments he's made so far week to week. And I think, just from an outsider's perspective looking in, I thought that he maybe made one, maybe 2 questionable decisions in the game Friday night. And when you're talking about a high school quarterback that maybe makes 1 or 2 questionable decisions, I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. Yeah. Actually, that's phenomenal. But then 2, when I say 1, maybe 2, I mean, even in the interception that he threw, 1, it put Texarkana in pretty rough field position, and because of the flag after the conclusion of that play, they actually put them half the distance to goal. So I mean, they started that drive on the 2-yard line, and that's when they decided to change quarterbacks. And I was really impressed by his ability to play, his ability to play make, his ability to shake and break tackles. But Carter and I called it fairly early on in that drive, to saying that is not a long-term solution against a Wildcat defense like the one you guys have. Not when the defense is as physical as the Wildcat defense is. And I said it earlier with Coach Harrison, but offensive line is my bread and butter. I spent so much time with Coach Shockley over at OBU.
Oh yeah.
That I can't help but just, when the play's happening, I'm looking to see what the offensive linemen are doing.
Bingo.
And one of the things that I love to see from the Wildcat offensive line was just the level of physicality that they wanted to display every time they stepped on the field. It wasn't about what they needed to do. It was about how much they wanted to do it. And the same thing, I gave this analysis with Coach Harrison's Buckaroos just a little bit ago, but it was very much the same way for the Wildcats, in that sometimes you had offensive linemen 10, 15, 20 yards downfield still making blocks. And to go back to one of the points that one of the players who you pointed out a minute ago, J.J. Samuel, there were a couple of times where I saw he had motion before the snap so that he could have momentum. And, I mean, he would go in, block 2 or 3 of them back onto their heels, and just open up a lane for Larry. What is that? The backup running back's last name? Oh,
Warner. Jeremiah.
Yeah, Jeremiah Warner. My bad. I was thinking about Coach Larry.
No.
But yeah. So Warner opened up a lane for Warner, and it was really great to see just the leadership that he was displaying on the field, and Cannon, and how well the offense meshed together, and the dominance that they were able to establish. And then also, it was really great talking to Coach Abels last week on the show. Yeah. And one of the things that I was really impressed with was just the Wildcat defense's ability to keep Texarkana's offense on its heels. I mean, seemed like every time Texarkana thought they found something that might be able to consistently get them a few yards, it might have worked 2, 3, maybe a fourth time, maybe. But then it was for negative yardage every time after that. And so just the adjustments that you guys were able to make going through that was absolutely phenomenal to watch and to see. It was a great game to be in the stands for, or in my case, the press box. And one last thing was just the wherewithal in all of the players on the Wildcat team just to understand that the score didn't mean anything. You guys didn't just want to win. You guys wanted to dominate. And that's what happened on Friday night, was just pure domination, wanting to show that you guys were the better team, the more physical team, the bigger, better, faster, stronger team. And it showed. It showed a lot.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think that's one thing we really have focused on, especially, with Coach Hill being here, is we refused to walk out onto the field and not be the most physical team out there. And I think it's a culture, it's a mentality that we have to create. The offensive linemen, again, they're challenged, and they're challenged this week, and we finally got to the point where they start to challenge each other, and so we're looking for that. Who's got that devastating block? Who's got that one that, the champion block, we call it, where I sustain that block for 6 seconds. I got a guy 15 yards downfield. I want to finish it. And the chemistry that those guys have with each other. I think Blake Dills started every game since he was a sophomore. He's now a senior. And we got Christavion Meadows, his buddy, at left guard, and then those two are. I mean, if you could just be in a meeting room with those guys, it is never a dull moment.
I believe you.
But then they go on the field and they flip a switch, and it's like, we are brothers, and we're going to go out there and we're going to punish somebody. Whether and 9 times out of 10 they're outsized. They're short guys, but they play like they're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And you got Caden King, another senior guard over there, Monte Levingston, another senior tackle. And then we got some puppies coming in at tackle as well. So we got Pearson Cranford, who's a sophomore. He's going to be a good football player. And then Ramad Boone, another sophomore, coming in. Both of those guys are 6'2", 6'3", 280. Pearson's about 250. They're coming, and they're holding their own in so far in the competition level that we've seen, and that's really huge for us, and really been intentional about having to keep an eye out on how are these young ones holding up, and they seem to be doing fine, and the older guys around them have kind of, hey, this is the standard. There is no, I'm sorry, you're in 10th grade. No, bro, you're gonna play. You got to play like a big boy, and you got to go, and they've embraced it and they love it, and it's fun. I think what really springs a lot of our big runs, and I always, you credit the O-line, and that's their job. That's what they want to do. Nobody ever gives them credit. But the perimeter blocking we have by our receiver and core was phenomenal. I think we had Justin Hammett was downfield 15 yards, and he just a little extra here. Let you look up, and he's always engaged with somebody. Bronson Brock was doing a great job. Paxton Strong. The size that he is and the ability to flex him out as a slot and put him in as an H-back or whatever. But when we get receivers on the perimeter blocking and looking for ways to get KOs and pancakes out there, man, you're going to be in for a successful night. And so I think we've really kind of embraced and kind of the level of physicality the ball is going to be in our court. Coach, it's hot outside. It's never hot enough. Coach, it's cold outside. It's not cold enough. Coach, they're bigger than you are, but they're not big enough. And so we want to embrace that mentality there and carry it over. Now, Cannon is an athlete. He's a phenomenal leader out there. Is some questionable. Did he make a questionable decision here or there? Well, there's more to that picture than just the throw.
100%.
So we had a protection issue that broke down right there and all that. And so there's times. You as a quarterback, you got to make the best play you think possible at that time. And when everything breaks down, you rely on your instincts. And sometimes the instincts, makes big plays for us. And he's a very athletic, mobile quarterback. And he gets us right. Paxton Strong gets us right. He makes sure we're lined up. He tells guys, hey, you're on, I'm off, I'm here, I'm there, you're doing this and that. So I think we're really starting. I guess it's still early, but starting to gel more as a unit. Going back to what you were talking about with defense, West does a great job with our defense. We have some young defensive linemen that have been rotating. I think this,
Coach, can we take just 1 second,
sure,
take a quick
most
break, and
definitely,
then we'll
most
come back
definitely.
and talk about
Yes.
talk about the defense? Awesome. So we're going to take another quick break with a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back at SouthArkansasNow.com.
Located on 1,400 acres amidst Union County's scenic timberlands, LSB Industries' largest manufacturing facility and its employees have been a part of the El Dorado community for more than 40 years. Working together as one team, we are proud to call El Dorado home.
More product than ever in the store history. That's what's happening at Union Kennel and Farm Supply. A huge sale is going on right now, including 50-pound bags of deer corn, only $6.50 per bag. 50-pound bags of rice bran, marked $1 off. No one, absolutely no one, has a better selection of small animals, birds, reptiles, saltwater and freshwater fish than Union Kennel and Farm Supply. 1100 West Hillsboro in El Dorado. Or call 870-864-9229.
At Karl Malone Power Sports El Dorado, we've got the biggest selection of ATVs, UTVs, and motorcycles ready to ride today. Take advantage of special financing, unbeatable trade-in values, and service you can trust to keep you on the trails. Whether it's work, play, or pure adrenaline, we've got the machine to fit your lifestyle. Karl Malone Power Sports El Dorado, where selection, savings, and service all deliver. Come see us today.
Bad things happen, and of course, they never happen at the right time. Maybe it's just a little bump and cosmetic damage, or it's turned into a huge insurance claim, and you just don't know where to go next. That's why so many of your neighbors and friends call on Cook's Body Shop in El Dorado. From the minor to the major, Cook's Body Shop is in your corner. Need someone to help you deal with insurance? Look to Cook's. Need advice on what to do next? Look to Cook's. Need a free estimate? Look to Cook's. Bad things are going to happen, and when they do, look to Cook's.
All right, and welcome back to Fifth and Goal, hosted here live at Mystic Creek every Tuesday, 6 p.m. during the football season for the South Arkansas teams. And, Coach, when we left off, you were talking about Coach Abels and his ability to get the defense rolling, get them doing everything that they were needing to do, and pick us right back up where we left off.
Yeah, I say Wes does a great job, and he has a great supporting staff as well. We have veteran Jimmy Johnson, who I admire the most, Coach D-line. Man, he's basically wrote the D-line Bible, and I really enjoy getting a chance to work with him. And he's got some young guys up there up front, and so we have some very experienced linebackers in there. You talking about Jacory. Jacory's a hard guy to plan for.
Mm-hmm.
He plays, you think he's going to be on one side, he plays sideline to sideline, and he is definitely the leader of our defense, the most consistent thing, I guess you would say, on defense. But it was really good to have a plan in place for, hey, if and then, right? If they do this, then we do this, and vice versa. So they do a great job in preparation and have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. So I just need to brag on them and our coaching staff and Cyril Wright and Caleb Jacobs. Those guys are doing a great job in their secondary, and it's always good to whenever you get a chance to work for former players. Kamarius Rux coaching outside linebackers, got a chance to coach him a while back, and Keontae Larry Darn running back. So I just need to give them some shout-outs, man. They do a great job.
Yeah, I think all the coaches deserve a pat on the back for the performance on Friday night, and all the players as well for their jobs executing. So, Coach, we'll just get into it really quick, and we'll save some of it for next week. Looking forward to that game. So we're going into a bye week. You guys are going in. I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting on the sideline still. You guys are going into a bye week for this week, and so you're gonna, quote unquote, get the week off. What does that week off really look like for the Wildcats?
Man, a bye week, either love them or hate them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of coaches have a different perspective on how that is. I mean, you're dealing with high school kids, so you're talking about the maturity level of can I physically take a week off to heal and to recover, but am I mature enough to still understand I have work to do?
Yeah.
And we've taken this week to really focus on the Cats, and that's going to be, and I heard Coach Harris talking about it as well, going back to fundamentals and really hammering these first three games, looking at those first three games, evaluate and say, hey, what are our needs? What do we need to focus on for this upcoming week? So We'll sprinkle in a little bit of Catholic this week in preparation for that. But, the big focus this week is going to be fixing us and really focusing on physically recovery as well as technically and fundamentally.
Yeah. Awesome. And we'll get more into it next week. So you don't have to give me the whole answer. But Catholic barely squeezed by a win 21-20, I believe, over Texarkana a couple weeks ago. And so how are you guys treating the bye week to make sure that your players don't get caught up in a trap game?
Yeah. Well, I know we have a kind of a bitter taste in our mouth from last year. We played them there, and kind of coming off a bye week, came out stagnant, very flat. We just seemed very off. They outplayed us, and they're going to be a very well coached team. They will not be the same team you saw last week. They have a great group of kids. They got a great staff. And they're not one to sleep on by any means, and I think our kids understand that. And our kids again have, like we say, got something to prove here, man. We had a chance to beat them last year and we didn't, and we let them hang around and beat us. This year, we need to come in a little bit more hungry and be a little more focused this week on, and especially moving in next week is. Hey, we need to get this done. When conference play start, every game is a must win, and so. You're dealing in 6A football. There's never really a trap game. There's not really a game where, hey, they may be like you playing for your life every week.
Right.
And so you go out there and playing experienced teams and experienced coaching staffs and teams that have depth and all these things. You better be ready, and you better have your big boy britches on when you go out there, and it doesn't matter what the opponent is because every game can be a trap game, And so we're going to focus a lot this week on us. Again, we're already starting to work on the plan for them, but again, we need to see them this week. They don't have a bye week, and then we're going to get a chance to watch them and see them on film. And I'm going to guarantee they're going to be better than they were a week ago.
You're right. If there's one thing about Catholic, it is consistent improvement.
Yes.
That is, I would say, one big thing that you can say about the Catholic team. Pretty much every year is consistent improvement.
Yep.
Constantly making adjustments.
Correct.
Mid quarter adjustments.
Yep.
Is what you see from Catholic, and so you're right, and they will be a much better team, but. At the same time, they don't have a bye week this week, and you get to get just that much more film on them, especially considering that they're actually only 1-1 right now. They didn't play a game against somebody like Little Rock Christian, what they call week 0, like the Wildcats did, and a lot of other teams around the state, but they didn't have to. So, and then. One last thing is I just want to talk about just a couple of the all-star players that I remember from Friday night's game, and I don't remember all of their names, and I don't have the lineup in front of me. But number 4, the wide receiver,
Christian
Williams. I was thinking it was a Christian W, but ever since you had told me Ward, I was thinking it was Christian Ward, and I knew that wasn't it. Christian Williams, that kid, sophomore, correct?
Sophomore, yeah, very dynamic, explosive player. He's going to be a fun one to watch.
That's somebody who, and I know you'll know who I'm talking about here. Almost reminded me a lot of Allie Freeman, the fourth, in the sense that he might not be the biggest one on the field, but by golly, he wants to show he's the most athletic one.
He is a very talented individual. And I said, as a sophomore, he's got a lot of growing still to do, speed to develop, his knowledge of the game. But again, we're going to find ways to get him involved in the game.
Absolutely. And then I don't remember his jersey number, but I believe Mark Smith or. No. Completely wrong name. So I'm just going to stop guessing names.
Mark Smith was on the train crew. Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to stop guessing names. However, I think number 66 or 68 offensive lineman for the Wildcats. Every time I looked up, they were just getting downfield with blocks.
I mean, you're probably talking about you got Monte Livingston who's playing tackle out there. He is a 300-pound. He's a load, and he's wanting to get after it. And then you got, Caden King at right guard, Blake Deal, and Christavion Meadows at left guard. Those interior linemen, those guys they're like some little bulldogs, man. They want to get after you and they want to drive you down the field. They're looking to finish a block here. And so they do a great job. And I think like it's a revolving door. We alternated series with Ramad and Pearson again as sophomores to see, hey, let's split time with them and let them really, earn a spot. Who's it going to be? So
yeah. Well, Coach, we have run out of time for the night. Is there anything that you want to say to any Wildcats or Wildcat fans watching tonight before we cut it out?
I just want to thank you guys for what you're doing for everything in South Arkansas. And it's a privilege to even be here today. And so again, thank you for what you guys are doing. And thank you for getting the coaches show started back up again. Things have been different since COVID, and now we're getting a chance to really get back out and get the culture right in the community, get excitement back in there. So I'm just thrilled to be here, and I thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything that we do with South Arkansas now couldn't be done without you guys at home and the sponsors that you've seen tonight. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tag your friends, because we want to provide all of the news that we can to you guys 100% free. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We hope you have a great rest of the night, and good night, South Arkansas.
Go Cats.
Derrick Henry.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I saved so much bundling, it inspired my workout. Auto! Home!
Okay, and this is Auto again, right?
Oh! Hey, this is my living room. Oh!
Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan.
The dog isn't allowed on the couch, Derek.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.